So we have seen how we can actually send email by using our PHP or localhost XAMPP from the Gmail account or Yahoo account. And now we are going to actually add the email notification like I've said in my previous video. So let's start the Apache and MySQL. As we have configured the XAMPP, we don't need to actually do it again. Now we can just go to login from our admin side, and then we are going to actually add some information inside one of the page. So here you can see, let's go to the book page. Okay, I'm getting an error for unexpected end of file in line 242 inside book.php. So let me just go to this page and first remove this error. So inside the XAMPP htdocs library, inside admin folder, and then books.php. So 242 line. Okay, so this is the last line. So that means end of file, unexpected end of file means that you need to actually check all these parentheses if they are balanced or not, and then we need to actually see if we have closed all these tags. And here I have forgotten to write the PHP for the starting tag. Now let's save this and refresh again. You are saying that there is no error in this page. Let's check all the other pages if there is an error. Okay, so everything is okay. So let's go back to books page again, and if we go back again to our issue information inside the book request page, we cannot add it here because this is only the request. They don't know the date yet. If we want to know the return date, then we need to go to a page where we can see them. So here inside this we can actually see the return date here, and there can be all the return date. And here are two books. I have actually modified them, their return date to 2 days later from now. I'm actually making this video on September 15 and the return date is September 17. So there are 2 days left, and when there will be 2 days left, we are going to send the email to our user. So that is why I'm actually using this. I will send the email to 2 different persons. You will see that and this will happen if we load this page, but the admin can load this page multiple times, then multiple email will be sent. That is why we are going to create a button on this page, and whenever we are going to click that button, they will actually send the email. So admin can actually send the button only once per day, and they will actually find all the person whose return date is in 2 days and send them email notification that they have to actually return their book in 2 days. So that is why we are going to use this page from admin side issue information page. There you go, inside our admin side issue information page, and from here we are going to actually modify something inside this page and then create a button, and then we are going to write our PHP code for sending the email. Here you can see this information of borrowed books, the title of our book, and before this one we are going to create that button. And for creating the button, first we need to add the form, otherwise we cannot actually use the PHP code for clicking on this button, or we cannot actually perform any operation by clicking this button. So here we are going to add some style that will be padding on the top. That will be, let's say, 20 pixel. And then after this we are going to add method equal post. That's it. And now we need to add some styling for our button. First let's add the bootstrap class btn and btn default. Then we need to add the style, and that will be float to left. And after that we are going to add the name and type of our button. So name has to be different and unique. We cannot actually use the same name for 2 buttons. Then all these 2 buttons will actually work together. So here I'm going to give it a name submit underscore m. M, that is actually for sending mail. That is why I'm going to use the m variable. And the type will always be submit. So here after refreshing it, we can see the button, Whenever we are going to click on this button, they will send the mail to all this person whose return date is in 2 days. There can be more datas actually, but there will be a couple of students whose return date will be in 2 days. We will not send all of them, we will only send the person whose return date is in 2 days. So for that we need to actually count the difference of the date, and here actually we are actually checking the condition if the person is logged in or not. But you can see that after changing our code, now we cannot actually enter in this admin folder if we are not logged in. So that is why we are going to delete that if condition and also remove this else section. Remove the second bracket or in closing bracket of else and if properly, so that it is balanced. So the only parenthesis is here and this one is starting at while, and there is no other condition or no other parenthesis. If there is actually imbalanced parenthesis, then you are going to get an unexpected end of file error. So make sure you check them properly. And here we are going to go after all these codes before the PHP ends. So here we are going to write if our button is pressed, that is our submit underscore m variable. So $_post submit underscore m, this variable. So if this button is pressed, we are going to send the mail. But before sending the mail, we need to actually recognize to whom we are going to send the mail. So for that we need to check that return date. So let's run a query to actually get the return date from our database, and here we are getting a variable $t. There will be approve will be equal to yes, because there will be returned if and only the approve status is yes. But somebody can actually return the book before their return date, so that is why we are not going to actually check for the person who has returned, whose status is returned. We are only going to send the email to the person whose approved status is yes. That means the student has taken the book but has not returned yet. And then after this we are going to go for creating a date, and this one will be the current date of our current date whenever they search for the or load this page. So that means that we are going to get this format year, month and date. This is the same format when actually in this format we have saved the date inside our database. That is why we are using this format. After echo this, we are going to refresh this one and click this button. Now if you actually select this, you can see the date below here. Let me just zoom in a bit. Here you can see 2020 09 and 15. So this is today's date, and we just need to simply write date and then give a format to get this date properly. But you can see that this is actually a string, but we need to actually create a date out of this so that we can actually make the difference between two dates. So write create date, date underscore create before this date function and give a parenthesis. Okay, then don't forget to add the semicolon. And after this we have actually our current date. Now we need to actually fetch the data from this query that we have run inside $t variable. So while a variable called $row, then mysql I underscore fetch SO. Then we are going to give the $t variable. So they will actually search for all these variable whose status is yes, approved status is yes. They will get all these row from here. Here you can see 2 of them has yes, and there can be more than that. They will search for each of them, and they will get the second date from the return date column for each person whose approved status is yes. So here we need to actually create the date again, because this is also a string. The input was character type, and here we need to give the variable name using the fetch variable that we have used here, $row. So $row, and then the column name here. Column name was return. So we need to actually give $row, and then inside third bracket, inside single quotation, return the column name. So they're creating the second date here. Now we need to actually get the difference between these two dates, and that will be $difference variable, and that will be date difference. Here you can see inside this parenthesis we need to give 2 parameter, these 2 date. So date 1 and date 2, they will give us the difference between these 2 dates. So date 1 and date 2, there you go. Now we are getting the difference inside this different variable, but we cannot actually use this different variable directly. You will get some error that they cannot actually convert it to string, and that is why we need to actually give a format. So let me just show you that this we cannot actually use this variable. Save this file and run that page again and click on the button. Okay, now here you can see this is the error we are getting. So we need to actually give a format to this before we actually want to echo this, or we want to use this inside another if condition. So here I'm going to create another variable name called $day, and this will be difference, and then give a minus and then closing bracket. This will create an arrow, then format, then inside the parenthesis we're gonna give second quotation mark, and inside the second quotation mark we are going to write percentage of a, then add a semicolon. And now we can actually use this $day variable. Let me see this again. Okay, you can see this 2 and 2 for this 2 variable. Let me add a new line so that you can see we are getting actually 2 value here. They're actually side by side, that is why it is actually looking like 22, but we are getting 2 days for this variable whose return date is 2. Now again, okay, here you go. You can see 2 and 2 for these 2 variables. Now let's delete that echo and use if $day double equal 2. That means if there are 2 days remaining, then we are going to get the username and the book ID of that person. So for actually fetching that username or for the mail, we need to actually run another query here after this. So you can see here we are actually getting all this row one by one from this database, and now we can actually, if we use the $row variable, we can actually get their name and book ID directly. We don't need to run another query here. So $name underscore m and $bid underscore m. This variable will be used for sending the mail, and that is why we are using that extension. then here $row BID, and this will be $row username. This is actually your column name from your database. Okay, save this again. And now using this username, we can actually get the email from the student table. And using this BID, if you want to use, you can actually get the book name from the books table. And then you can actually use them inside your email. But I will just only use the name to get the email. And I will send the book ID inside the mail, not the book name. But if you want, you can actually write another query similar to this one to get the name of the book. So here select star from student where username equal, this one will be our username. So we can actually give directly this variable, or you can use the $name variable too. So $row, then we don't need to give the single quotation mark inside the parenthesis this time. This will be actually outside that variable, total variable. And this is done, everything is okay. And now we are actually getting the email. We're gonna get that email. So before that, we need to actually fetch that data from these from this query. So let's create another one $2 variable. This will be MySQLi underscore fetch assoc, and here inside this one, this will be $SQL underscore m, and then okay, you can see that we are actually we are not using the while loop again for this one, because here you can see there are actually multiple data inside this query. But whenever we are actually inside this while loop, we are working with one row. That means only one person, so we are getting only one person's email. That is why we don't need to actually use another while condition here. But if we have multiple rows to actually read from a query, then we need to use that while loop. And now we need to actually create 4 variables like this one here too. So we have already gotten the email inside that $2 variable. So the next one will be $subject, and here the subject will be regarding the book return date, and then put a semicolon. Then the next one will be the message. So $message variable will be equal to, this one will be the email message that you want to actually send. So here I'm going to write a short message, hello. So I'm going to write simply, this is to notify, or this is sent to notify you that you need to return. Here you can actually use that query to give the book name also, but I'm going to use the book ID. So book, and then I'm going to give a parenthesis, then ID, and then like this. Then after this I'm going to use a variable, so we need to put a dot. You can actually use directly this BID underscore m variable too. Then put another full stop here. Okay, then again a double quotation mark, and here we are going to end our parenthesis. Then we need to end our message to complete the sentence. This is to send, okay, you need to return the book in 2 days from today, or you can just simply write in 2 days. Then save this. Then we need to add another one, that is our $from variable. I'm going to copy this one because I'm going to send the email from this one, as we have actually previously given this email inside the XAMPP file too, if you remember, inside php.ini and sendmail.ini file. If you want to change it, you need to actually go to those file inside your XAMPP file. And here you can see that we are getting this data actually from the query, so we can actually directly use that $2 variable to get the mail of that student to whom we want to actually send the mail. And then here we are going to use the if-else condition like previously. Here we need to actually give the $2, and then here you can see we have fetched this all this data of that student. So we need to specify which data we are going to use. We are going to use the email column. You can see your column name and check them for making sure that you are not giving anything wrong. So email is the column name, so I'm actually getting that email column variable here, and then after this the subject, then the message, and the variable name is msg, and then the last one is the from variable. So here, okay, now you can save this one, and after this mail is sent, we are going to actually write a message, or we are going to send an alert by using the JavaScript. So here, just end the PHP and start it again here, and in between them we are going to write our script code. Okay, so script and then press tab. Then inside this one we are going to send an alert message sent, email sent successfully. Then you can actually copy all these things and paste it inside this else condition too. Just change the alert message to message mail not sent. Other things are actually gonna remain same. So we are done with this one, and let me just check if the parentheses are balanced or not. This one is for while loop, and the last one is actually for checking if the button is pressed or not. So everything is working properly and everything is actually balanced. So let me just refresh this page. Okay, I'm actually getting unexpected $ from variable. Okay, let me check again. Okay, I have not actually misspelled the variable name also, so why? Okay, they are probably actually expecting something else, that is why getting an okay. Here I have actually forgotten to give the semicolon after this message variable ends. Now after saving this, let's run again. Okay, we have closed all the other variables, just this one was remained blank. Okay, so here we are not getting any error. Yes, we are not getting any error. So now if we click on this button, we are actually going to send the mail to this 2 person because their return date is in 2 days. So let me see if we click on this button once, if both of them actually get the email or not. I will just open the email for both of them, and Wi-Fi is also connected. This is one of the email that I have used to send to Anika. And we are also getting that alert notification too. And here this is to Afifa, so both of them have received. I will send another email to the same person to see if we actually get them again or not. Okay, we are getting this alert messages for both of them, you can see. So they are actually sending mails to all the persons with a single click. Here you can see 2 new message or 2 new email. So here we are getting this same email for both of them. And here you can see that return the book ID is actually different for both of them. So we are not actually repeating the message to everyone. So here the book ID is 2 for one person, and another person will have a different book ID. So let me check this one. Here you can see book ID 5. So that means they are both different person. And also you can actually use to write the name of that person, mention that person inside this email too, by using that $name_m variable or $row username variable.